Hello traders, welcome to another episode of Greenback Riders Trading Academy, and we will be taking a look at what the market has been doing and what we are expecting going into the next week. Now the next week becomes really important because it is the options expiry for the weekly options, for the monthly options, as well as the quarterly options. However, we also need to keep in mind that going into Tuesday morning, we will be moving over from the March contract to the June contract. I personally will be doing that. So when I will be doing the analysis tomorrow evening for the rest of the week, all the support resistance areas that we will be talking about will get offset by around 50 to 55 points to the upside. So keeping that in mind, let us now see what we are having. Let us start looking at the monthly chart at this point for ES1. So if you see, this was the high of April 2024, right? We came right there. We went a little bit below that. And it was also the low of the September 2024 candle. We went a little below that. So right at this point of time, we can consider that this is a double bottom that has happened. And then the market has actually moved up. And it has moved up above the daily levels of the 53.33. That is also another weekly level. So we will be taking a look at that. Now on the downside, if the price wants to come down, we will see that we are still inside the daily channel. We will take a look at that when we get there. But if the price again breaks down that 5533 area, there may be a possibility that we will come down and revisit these lows again and then break down. But first of all, we need to see that 5533 area is being broken down before we are expecting further downside. Now, since we are in the last week of the options expiry and the price is bouncing, it may be possible that market wants to go and hit that 5700 to the 5720 areas, because if you remember that we had very good call flows in the 5700 areas as well. We had the 5500 put flows and we came almost to 5509, or we came to 5509. That was a measured move target and we have gone back up once again. So now we will have to see if we are able to tag that 5700 and then the 5720, hold the 5700 levels, and then only there will be the expectation that it can move up to the 5760 to the 5800 areas once again. Also on the monthly chart, if you see here, if this was the top, this was the bottom. So this was the first leg down, then we went back up again. This was an inside bar right here, and then we broke down the bottom and we got the 1:1.5 of this particular move at this point of time. And if the price wants to come down further, it breaks down this 5604 levels once again, and then there is a possibility that we can get to this 5416 level, which becomes the 1:2. But as of now, we are bouncing. There has been a good bounce at this point on Friday. So I am expecting that the price will go up to the 5700 to the 5720s or the 30 areas, and then we may actually see a dump again. And if we don't, we can, based on the monthly chart, we can come and test these levels at 5800, which happens to be retesting the 1:1 of this particular move, and then we will see whether the market is capable of moving up through the 5800s. However, we are in a very tight channel. This is a big drop that has happened. However, if you see in this particular month, this was also a similar candle, and then after this month was over, the next candle actually gapped down from this monthly close, and then we started moving up again. So this can also be another possibility after we had this 10 to 11% pullback from the all-time highs. But we also need to remember that at that point of time, we did not have the same geopolitical issues that we are having right now. We are having some kind of major news almost every day, and based on that, the price may actually move. Also, this week we have the FOMC, so that will also have its own effect on the price movement. Let us take a look at what is happening on the weekly chart right now. So if you see, we came down to these weekly lows. This was one of the flags that got created, and the market again moved up. Now, if you concentrate right here and try to see what happened on the weekly chart here, after we got to this all-time high, we had two legs to the downside, then we had two legs to the upside, and then we have a micro channel down. So this is pretty strong, right? So since we have a 4-bar micro channel to the downside, as long as we do not get inside this TR areas, there is always a possibility that even if we get one leg to the upside, the market will want another leg coming down to the downside, and we can, at that point of time, based on how the pullback has happened, we can actually find out what will be the target for that weekly move to the downside. As of now, if you also see here, this was a trading range that got created, right? Two legs to the downside. So if you see two legs to the upside, two legs to the downside, two legs to the upside again. So the first attempt to break out, second attempt to break out, third attempt to break out, it failed failed and the market came down. So if we are saying that this is somewhere where the weekly TR is starting without considering the all-time high, if we are saying that this is where the weekly TR is starting and this is the midpoint of that particular TR, then 5473 becomes the target of that particular trading range to the downside, the 1:1, right? So that has not happened, but yet, but it does not mean that it cannot happen, right? Even tomorrow we can start right from here and we can start coming down, break down the 5400s and get to these areas, and then we will see whether the price actually wants to get to this particular low, somewhere towards the low of this particular week. However, since we had a very good push on Friday, right from the bottom of this daily channel, and we took out that 5533 level, first we took out the 5533 level on Thursday, it came back down once again, and then we broke it out again, and now we are somewhere in the 5600 levels, right? We closed at 5640. At this point of time, we will have to see whether we are able to break out of the 5646 to the 5650 area, break out of this particular line at 5648.25, which happens to be the daily channel upper limit for tomorrow. And then we will see whether we are able to get to this 5673 area, which is the low of the previous week. If we are going above from here, then the price may come and hit the 5744 as well, provided we are breaking through the 5700, the 5720s, and at that point of time, if the bulls are strong enough, the 5740 to the 5750 area becomes a very viable target. And if that happens, the price may actually come and hit this micro gap between the close of the last to last week and the open of the previous week. And then we will see whether we are able to get above this 5773 and get to the 5800 levels. Let us now take a look at the daily chart. So on the daily chart, this is the daily channel. I tightened it a little bit so that we can have the maximum touches on these lines. And if you see, we broke down from here, we broke down from here, we tried to go back, but it did a lower low here, and then we have moved back up here. Now we have to see whether we are able to get above this 5646, which also happens to be the upper trend line for tomorrow. And if we are breaking out of that, we can come and hit the top here, which is the CPI high at the 567071 areas. If we are able to break out of this 567071 areas, our next target can be the 5700s, of course, the 5697 to the 5700s. If we continue to get above 5702, we will see the 5720-21 area, and if we are still continuing to go up, we will look for the 5733, and above that we can actually come and touch this weekly micro gap that we were saying. However, there is one more possibility that will come back here. We will do our double top at this area, and then the price may actually start dropping once more. So that can create a very good setup in this area where we should be actively looking at, and at that point of time the price may come and retest this particular trend line once again. Now, on the contrary, if the price gets rejected right here and we start coming down, we break down these lows. This happens to be the April 24th open and the March 25th low. Let us now take a look at the daily chart. So on the daily chart, if you see, we bounced from here on Thursday and Friday. We posted a very good bull bar. We closed above the high of Friday. We tried to get above the 5650 area, but we got stuck right at the 5648.75. We could not get above this 5650, which happens to be the high of last Tuesday. So now we have to see whether we are able to get above the high of last Tuesday and get to the CPI highs first, right? So first of all, we'll have to see that we are breaking out of 46, we are breaking out of this 48250 area. That will give us a very good idea that the price actually wants to come and hit this 5673 or the 71 line, which is this previous low. And if we are breaking out of this, we will get to that 5700, 5697 to the 5700 area. And if we get above and hold the 5702 line, then mostly we will come and hit this 5720 here. And if we continue to be bullish and the bulls have enough strength at that point of time, it can create a trading range right here. And then later in the day, the price may come and hit this 5746 to the 5750 area and hit this weekly micro gap like we were talking earlier. One more possibility is that we get above this 5650 area. We come and hit the CPI high at the 5670 area and then get a very good rejection. And at that point of time, if we are breaking down this 48 to the 46 area, once again, we are trying to come back inside this channel. Our first target will be the high of this particular bar, which happens to be at the 5622 or even the 5620 to the 18 area once more. However, if you see here, there is a trading range that got created right above the 572 5720 area. So once we get above that 5720 area, the market may very well try to get into this, get above this, and then try to hit the high of this trading range towards the 5800s. But that may not happen right tomorrow. But if the market is bullish enough and they are able to take the price higher, we may actually see the 5797 to the 5800 areas also sometime towards the end of this week. So now if we are looking at the 4-hour chart, you will see that this particular trend line is also active on the 4-hour chart. We went right there and we got rejected. So now we will have to see what happens when the market opens tonight, whether we are able to get above this, touch this. If we are getting rejected and we are starting to come back down, we may get another leg to the downside. What also is happening here, if you see that between this 564546 area and this low, there is a trading range that is getting created at this point of time. So what I'm talking about, I will not keep this box here, but this is just for giving an idea to you guys right now. This may be the 4-hour trading range, and we may continue in this area for some time, right? There's the first attempt to break out, there's the second attempt to break out, this was the third attempt to break out of this, which failed on Friday, and we have closed below it. Now we will have to see whether the price wants to come back down towards these lows, or it wants to get back above this high and continue to the upside. Now if we are continuing to the upside, a 1:1 of this particular trading range to the upside will actually bring us to the 5676 area, which happens to be that weekly micro gap that we have. Now, if you see that between this top of this particular area and the top of this particular bar that we have, if we are doing a 1:1, that is where we are getting the 1:1 of that trading range, right? Now, this 5710 area now becomes the 50% area, right? So that may be also another area where the price will get rejected. That can be a very good profit taking line. However, the price may not break down 5697 again. It can pull back to the 5697 area, create a trading range, and then later in the day it can go up and hit that, get above the 5710 and hit that 5720 line, and then if that is somewhere we are closing tomorrow, then the day after can see a further rise to these areas. Now looking at the hourly chart, these are the different areas where we can actually find bullish pressure, provided the price is coming down here. So if we are breaking down this particular area, this is currently a flag, right? However, on the 1-hour chart, we have the first leg up, we came down, we had the second leg up, but some machines will look at it as a single leg, and the price may come and hit this 5571 once again, which is the hourly double top. Below that, the next area will be the 5553, the next area will be the 5559 to the 5552 area. We can see a bounce from here as well. If we are failing this also, then we may come and test this low again at 5533, and then we will see if the price is capable to come down at this point of time. I will also keep a trend line on this hourly chart at this point, so that we know that the price is actually trying to break down this line. So if we are breaking down this line at some point, mostly we will be coming and testing this 5571, and below that we will be seeing this. Otherwise, if we are able to get above this, if we are able to get out of this line, then we will be seeing the 5673 line once again. This will be another important double bottom breakdown line on the 1-hour chart, and I will have that marked. And that happens to be exactly at the 5702 that we were talking about. And if we break out of the 5702, this is what we will get to, and above that we can get to this 5741, followed by the levels that we have on the upside, which is the 5750, the 5670 areas. All those areas can be targeted at that point of time. However, on the hourly chart also, you will see that we are in that same trading range, and we can continue to be in that trading range maybe till Wednesday, till the FOMC results are out, and then we may see whether the price is moving up or coming back down. The link to all these charts that we are describing here is given in the description below. I have actually merged all the higher time frame levels into a single chart for everyone's convenience. Also, if you're liking the content of these videos and if it is helping you in your trading, please make sure to like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification icon. Let us now take a look at some of the options data. So if you look here, this is for SPX, right? So you will see that there has been a start of a divergence here. So the puts have have been going down and the calls have been going up. So that is actually telling us that there is a possibility that the price may actually hit a little bit higher before we see any more downturn. Now, this is actually giving us the idea that there can be a trading range possible. If you see we have 50-55 puts expiring for 321, where we have a volume of 85, while the open interest is just one, right? So this is a good sign that this may actually work out. We also have some 50-45 puts. So based on the data that I'm looking here now, we have some calls at 5300. So this is where they have sold a call, right? So this is far below. So it looks like they have sold the call here. And let us take a look at the gamma positioning of the market makers at this point of time. So if you see here, this is the first aggregate gamma. This is where we have the highest open interest, the highest put open interest, the highest call open interest, and the gamma flips to positive till the 5650 area to the upside. And then again, once we are getting above the 5650 area, this is a negative gamma area. Till this 4AG, we will have some positive gamma as well. However, since this is the 1 AG at this point of time, I am thinking that even if there is a pullback or we open somewhere in this area, we may come down here and then start bouncing from here. So this will be the 5604 to the 5606 area with respect to the ES March contract. With the ES March contract has a 4 to 6 point spread with SPX at this point of time. And then we can bounce from here and we get above this 5607 area. We can target these areas back to the top, which is 5620, and then we can get up to the 5634, and then we will see if we are able to get above that 5630. Again, we will stay in the 5646 area and then try to touch this 5650 area. And if we are breaking above this, then at that point of time you can actually see that the price will this 5680 area will work as a magnet and the price will move towards that. There may be some changes at that point of time, and there may be some exposure changes right around the 5675 area. So that we will find out on the fly if there is some changes, and if we are trying to get above that, we may create a couple of legs to the upside and then start doing a trading range here. However, if we are breaking out of this, we can actually have a straight move up to the 5720 to the 5730 areas as well. So again, like I say every day, it all depends on where we open and where we are taking the first support or getting the first resistance, and based on that we can open our trades looking at this gamma levels, looking at the support and resistance levels on ES. Also, if you see, this was the close that happened on Friday, which was above the 5630 level where we were getting stuck multiple times. So that is a good sign. So that is telling me if we are opening somewhere here, it will first try to get to the 5650 level. It will try to break out of that and get to the 5680 level, or else it will get back to the 5650 level. It will get a strong rejection there, and then it will come down below this, and then we can come down to the 5620 and then to this 5607 levels as well. But I am not of the opinion that it will break this down. It will break this down and come down here. If that happens, if we are breaking this line down, then there is a possibility we can come and hit this 5575 area. And if we break that down, we can even see this particular low of Friday. And if the bears become strong due to some reason and there is some news that came in, then we can actually flush down to these areas. And if we are breaking this down, then we can come down to this major line at 5550, and then we will see whether there is a follow through by the bears towards the downside. So this is what is happening right now. This is what are the lines that we have. So one possibility is this, that we come down here and then break out of this and go somewhere here to the upside, or the other possibility is this, that we open around the same area, get rejected here, retest this again and come down to these areas tomorrow. So we will have to see again where the price opens, because that becomes very important, and then we will have to see in which area the price is getting the first support and resistance, compare it with the support and resistance that we have on the HDF, the higher time frame support and resistance chart of ESM, and based on that we can actually start taking the trades tomorrow. So that is all I have for now. Again, as a reminder, we are live on Google Meet every day starting around 9:10 a.m. So if you are interested in joining the live call, the link to the Discord channel is given in the description below. You can join the Discord, and around 8:45 you will see the webinar link pop up there. That is where I will end this video tonight, and I will see you guys again tomorrow morning. Have a great rest of the night, everyone. Bye.